Hello, hello, my lovely Cancers. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Cancers, we have the tear, the sword, the vessel, and the vow. I mean, it just feels like a broken promise, honestly, but I don't know. I mean, it's just... I mean, the tear is the idea of like a cleansing, healing experience, right? Making a decision to cut away with the confusion that I think is causing a lot of sadness, but is also like it's such a relief to finally let go of things. You know what I mean? To release that, like clinging on to a pattern of sadness or a pattern of loss or a pattern of like, I don't know. And I'm sure it'll play out differently for all of us, but I just think about the idea of like, if it's a pattern of never having a voice, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, if my family watches this, that's great. I'm glad that they're watching it. I'm glad that they're hearing me out. But is that them giving me a voice? Do you know what I mean? Not really. Not at all. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, so I have to stop focusing my attention on trying to fight for my right to have a voice. Otherwise, it's going to just like consume me, you know? Like I won't be able to focus my attention on accomplishing anything because I'll be too busy, you know, like, please just listen, please just listen, please just listen. But like the only thing that that's doing is feeding into somebody's ego. It's not feeding their soul. You know, and so as a result, you have to stop feeding the ego and trust that the soul will get the nourishment that it needs, you know? Because I feel like the promise is I don't know, it's like a game of telephone. And it's like, you know, I promised to always love you, or I promised to always be there for you, but that doesn't mean that that I have to, be at your beck and call, or that, like I can only love you in one way, or, you know what I mean? I just kind of feel like there's this sense of like, yes, I made this promise, but that promise somehow took form into something that like, I didn't like, that isn't what I agreed to. I don't know. I just think of like a contract that like you submitted an offer and then it got written and rewritten and passed down the line and handed to everybody and anybody who wanted to read it, except for the person who was actually supposed to sign the contract. And then the contract comes and it's like, that's not what I agreed to. That is not what I signed up for. That is not even remotely realistic. I don't know. I think of this, a friend of mine, and she's got a lot going on with her family, and part of that is because of this person who literally just, like just stir shit to stir shit. And so, like what would otherwise be, like just a normal interaction is completely thrown in another direction because this person who really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of like her family, you know what I mean, just comes in and starts acting like they've got say over everything and how it, like who says what and why they say it, like they have a fucking clue about what they're talking about. You know what I mean? And it's like this idea of just like people coming in, and Cancers, it's been in our reads for a long time, of thinking that just because we're nice, we're easy to push around. Like, I don't know. You got it twisted 10 types away there. You know what I mean? Like, I may be kind and I may love and I may allow for myself to be open to, like fulfilling a promise that I made, but it doesn't have anything to do with any of this bullshit that was written up and and detailed out by somebody who doesn't even know what they're talking about. Somebody who does not have that investment in anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? That's what that feels like. And it's like, while it's sad that you have to step away from something, it's also like, I don't know. The world is full of people who are self-serving and nasty and manipulative and really don't care about anybody except for their own sense of controlling the people around them. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give a fuck as long as they are the ones who have the say. That's where the manipulation comes in, because, oh, well, you'll justify this for me, and you'll justify this for me, and you'll justify, and it's just kind of like, and then you'll go rewrite some contract and bring it back, and it's like, that's it's nothing at all like what I agreed to in the first place. And I don't know, like, it's 5:55 when I looked at the clock. Yeah, I mean, because it can play out in so many different ways. You know what I mean? Like, you could say, well, and so it's important to have conversations with people, because sometimes you want to go out with a group of people and just have fun, right? And you're like, this is a group activity where all of these people are going. And there are other times where you're like, hey, my friend and I are going to go and do this, and we just want to go do it ourselves. We don't want to have to invite everybody in the world. You know what I mean? Like, and it just feels like one of those, I don't know. Like, this isn't a group effort. Like, this isn't, like, for me, it's like, you know, my relationship that I have with my boys, ultimately, at the end of the day, is the relationship that I have with them. And I'm going to have to overcome a lot of challenges, because I got a lot of people who just want to throw shit at me because they don't like me. You know what I mean? And it's like, cool, I don't give a fuck if you like me or not. That's not my goal here. Do you know what I mean? And your opinions don't really matter to me. You know, like, in fact, I find them so oppressive and so aggressive and so full of hatred and biased and gross that I'm willing to never, ever associate myself with it in any way, shape, or form ever again. Does that mean that I don't want anything to do with my children? No, because they are their own people. And you know what? You raised them for a few years, but I had them for the first decade and a half. So, you know, like, I'm going to have faith in that, not you. What the fuck, you know? But again, there's just this, like, there's so much lack. There's so much, like, aggression. There's so much no that needs to be done away with. And you're starting to really understand what it is that you've been afraid of, why you've been afraid of it, and how it is that you can turn things around in a really big way, because you have a call. You have a promise that you did make that didn't get written and rewritten by a bunch of dumb fucks who don't know what they're talking about. You know, like, you pulled away so that you could know. I just feel like this sense of, like, studying what it is that you were planning, studying what it is that your goals were, studying yourself and understanding why, and then studying, like, the terms of the agreements at hand, and really just mind blown. You know, like, I didn't agree to any of that. And I made a promise to do something that, like, I'm not breaking a promise that I made. I'm breaking a promise that a whole bunch of people who have absolutely no right to have any say about my life thought that they could just start having a say. They thought they could start speaking on my behalf. Like, they know me. No. Not at all. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to go in a direction where I know that my love is safe, where my relationships are safe, where my space is safe, where my people aren't petty, dumb bitches who think that they can control things when they don't actually have a clue what they're talking about or a leg to stand on. You know what I mean? And that's because of the relationship that I created, not because of some title that I think I'm going to demand ownership of. And that's how I feel about that. I don't know. I'm going to watch this one. I don't know how I feel about it. Because honestly, I feel irritated. I feel like, again, to go back to that contract that gets drawn up. Oh, well, yeah. So the example that I was sharing. So like this woman, like this dude started dating this chick like 6 months ago, which is telling in and of itself. And then went through a bunch of things, and his partner in business gave him an opportunity, you know, and like handed him something and said, here, you know, like, I'm going to let you take care of this because I know that this is where your passion is. And this chick, no name Nancy over here, you know, is like, you need to make sure that da 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 da, and like this bitch doesn't have a clue about these businesses. These people have been in partnership for years. Do you know what I mean? And like, she just wants the money. She just wants what she can take. She just wants the control and the power. And everybody in the world can see it except for this dude. You know what I mean? And it's just like, woo. And that's going to bite him, and that is going to be some bad fucking karma for him. You know what I mean? But everybody else is staying out of it. But that's the kind of energy that I feel like you're dealing with, you know, just like somebody who wants to like I'm going to write that contract, and I'm going to say how that conversation goes, and I'm going to da-da-da-da. And it's like, nah, bitch, you ain't got shit to say that anybody gives a fuck about. So I'm going to go ahead and remove your voice immediately. And if that means removing the voice of the person who I handed the contract to in the first place, then that contract is removed. And if you want to say I'm breaking a promise, well, my promise was never to you or them in the first place. So I don't know, take your manufactured list of demands and burn them kindly. Thank you. You know, because you're rising up in your power. You are standing an opportunity. I mean, I love the queens in this deck. The Queen of Pentacles is like, eat of this if you dare, you know, but she's very knowledgeable. She's got a lot of experience. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. I mean, this is just like, I've got things to do and promises that I've made and commitments that I'm committed to. And I don't know where this energy is coming from or who this dumb bitch is that thinks that they can have a say and rewrite any kind of contract about you or your life or anything of that nature. But I really just don't get the feeling that you give two shits about it, because it doesn't seem like it's a difficult decision that you're making. It feels like a decision where you're just like, okay, well, if you guys don't understand that and you don't see that for what it is, in the end, really, it's not my problem because I was never addressing you in the first place. You know what I mean? So, bye-bye. Right? I don't know. It feels powerful, you know, but it feels like it turns your luck around in a really big way, because you've got the Wheel of Fortune, the Sun, you know, and the Moon. I love this. I just feel, yes. Well, I mean, I just feel, because it's like this, like I'm powered with the abundance and the joy and the energy and the vitality of the Sun and the intuition of the Moon, and, you know, like the flowing state of the, like I can feel it and I can experience it and I can live in it, rather than this, like, I don't know, just this idea that like there's an offer made of some sort that was like, listen, I know that I made this promise, and that promise that I made got revised by people I have absolutely nothing to do with, will never have anything to do with, have never had a conversation with, never intend to have a conversation with, you know what I mean? Or had a conversation with them one time and was like trying to dodge them again successfully forevermore. You know what I mean? Like, you know, however that plays out for you. But I just get this feeling of like I know what my promise was, and it's not all this fuddled muddled bullshit. It's something a lot more pure. It's something a lot more simple, and it's something that doesn't have to do with whoever in this world outside of you thought that they were going to have a say about it, because they wanted to get a piece of the pie, but that ain't their pie. You know, fuck out of here, bitch. Okay, the Mentor. I mean, the mentor is the idea of, you know, like being guided. But honestly, I kind of feel like you are the mentor in this situation, because Cancers, I feel very like, no, this is the direction that I'm going, and this is the direction that I am going to continue to go in. And I don't really, you know, like I'm so flying high above all of that bullshit. It's real easy for me to see what's going on here, and it's not my problem. It's never been my problem, and it will never be my problem. And you can't try and make it my problem. You know, and any promises that I've made that have seemingly been broken, I just feel like it's this idea of like, well, my promise was never to that. So I'm not really sure what you're referring to. Whew, sass. All right, Cancers, if this resonates, please give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.